Good morning, everyone. I'm Nishita R from 8th semester Computer Science and Engineering. Today, here I am to present my technical seminar paper, Talking Handler for the Disabled, under the guidance of my guide, Professor Mr. Hanmantappa H. Today, I'll be discussing about the abstract, which gives a brief overview about my paper, introduction, literature survey, which talks about the background study on the paper, implementation, which tells about how the proposed system can be implemented, advantages of the proposed system, conclusion, and finally, what future enhancements can be made on the proposed system. Coming over to the abstract, as we all know, communication is a way in which we express ourselves, our feelings, thoughts, and idea of information. As humans, we're all blessed with the boon of speaking to communicate with each other. But there are few people who are born with a disability in speaking. These people in olden days used sign language to express themselves, but this sign language was very difficult for a normal human being to understand. So our paper presents a methodology that can be implemented for a disabled person and which converts the sign language or the hand gestures performed by a disabled person into a form suitable for a normal person to read and understand. Our system makes use of a sensors and a microcontroller which is attached to the hand glove. Once the disabled person wears this hand glove, his hand gestures are converted into a text and speech format. Introduction. As we all know, communication is the most important soft skill in the present scenario or the present world. Communication can be of various forms. It can be verbal, non-verbal, textual, or handwritten. As of now, speech is the most commonly used method of communication. Over the years, there is rapid increase in the people born with disabilities. This can be either due to the birth defects, or they have been paralyzed, or due to accidents. Earlier, before the advancement in field of science and technology, people with speech disability used sign language to express themselves. But this sign language created a communication barrier between the normal person and the disabled, as this was not able to understand easily. Over the time, this created a need for a system that could efficiently reduce this communication barrier and help the disabled person live a happy living. This picture depicts the hand gesture or the finger positioning performed by a disabled person to represent alphabets. So, as technology grew, many researchers came up with unique ideas in this context. With the most commonly used method currently is by converting these hand gestures into text format so that the guardian or the caretaker of the disabled person could read and act accordingly. But there is a disadvantage associated with this. Since the hand gestures are converted only to the text format, in the absence of a guardian or a caretaker, the disabled cannot communicate efficiently. This created a need for another technology or a methodology that could overcome the disadvantages of the existing method. Our paper presents a methodology which consists of a wireless hand glove, which is digital and which is fitted with accelerometer sensors, which senses the gestures or the hand movements performed by the disabled, which then transforms these sensor data into the microcontroller, which compares the hand gestures with the predefined code inside the microcontroller and produces the output in the form of text and speech. Coming over to the literature survey speaks about the background study or the research work performed on the paper. I have performed two different research studies. The first research study being it focuses on gesture recognition methods and various sign languages in India. The second research method focuses or discusses about the existing system in the world. The first research study, there are officially 22 Indian languages and 4 other Indian living languages. With such diversity in the language and culture, it is very difficult for a person born with disability to express or communicate themselves with another person. Also, Indian Sign Language is considered as one of the living languages in India used by the deaf and mute communities. On a census conducted, there are almost 1.3 million people born with disabilities in India every year. Coming to different types of sign languages, sign language can be grouped into various forms. I have divided into three different terms: basic terms, everyday terms, and emergency terms. Everyday terms. This category includes the terms that are used for everyday communication. Example being to represent their happy, sad, to ask how are you, sleepy, etc. The picture shows the various gestures performed to indicate the same. Second category is of basic terms. This category includes the terms that are used for our basic needs, like the number to indicate alphabets, etc. The third and the most important category is emergency terms. This category is used during at times of emergency or during an urgent requirement, such as to indicate danger or to indicate the person is thirsty or to indicate to call an ambulance, etc. So the second research study focuses on the existing system. The existing system uses flex sensors as shown in the picture. These flex sensors are used to detect the hand gestures. The flex sensors are very light and detect the gestures based on the bending of the fingers. The system consists of two sections, namely transmitter section and the receiver section. The transmitter section consists of a hand glove which is fitted with these flex sensors over them. It also consists of a microcontroller and the RF transmitter to transmit the data from the microcontroller to the receiver section. The receiver section consists of a RF receiver and also a LCD screen to display the gestures converted into the text format. The working of this existing system is once the person wears the hand glove designed with these flex sensors, the person performs the hand gestures to indicate a sign or an need. When these gestures are performed, the flex sensors recognize the gestures based upon the bending or the tilting of the hand, and in according to this, the flex sensor sends data to the microcontroller, which then recognizes or compares the gestures sensor data received with the predefined code present inside them. Later on, the microcontroller outputs the corresponding gesture recognized by the predefined code and outputs this to the LCD screen to convert and display it into text format. Implementation. This talks about how the proposed system can be implemented. The proposed system makes use of accelerometer sensors, which is a three-axis sensors which senses where even a slight movement or a bending in the finger, and is very useful and advanced in technology. The proposed system is portable and focus on two-way communication. The main goal of this system is to convert the hand gestures not only into text format but also into the speech format, so that in case of emergency, the person beside the disabled person can also run for help. The hand gesture recognition system and voice recognition conversion overcomes the necessary barrier that exists between the normal person and the disabled. Comparing with the existing system, this proposed system is very compact and possible to carry to any places. Here is the block diagram which represents the proposed system. The proposed system consists of accelerometer sensors, an Arduino LilyPad, which is a textile uh, Arduino board designed for textiles or e-fabrics, and it also consists of a LCD screen and a speech synthesizer module which converts the text into speech. Coming to the each component, there are 5 accelerometer sensors that will be used in this approach on the data glove, wherein the 5 accelerometer sensors are attached over on top of the hand glove owned by the disabled. These sensor data is connected to the Arduino LilyPad, which is a textile-friendly Arduino board, and the sensor data received from these accelerometer sensors will be passed on to the microcontroller for further processing. Inside the microcontroller, these are matched with the pre-existing code, and later on this is displayed to the output in the LCD display, and to convert this text into speech, and speech synthesizer module is also used. The key points to be noted are: the Arduino will accept the input data from the data glove, then the Arduino is further connected to LCD display and also speaker to give an output in the form of both text and audio. The process uses the text to audio format will be a TTS speech synthesizer module. This picture is shows the Arduino lily pad, which can be sewed onto a textile or a fabric, which overcomes the disadvantage in the existing system, which makes use of Arduino Uno, which is not textile friendly. Flowchart. This flowchart represents the actual flow of the process. Once the user wears the hand glove, the process starts. Once the person performs the hand gestures or finger movements or bend in the action, the sensors mounted over them recognizes the gesture, and these gestures or sensor is from the sensor is converted into sensor data and passed down to the microcontroller. Inside the microcontroller, if the sign recognized by the microcontroller matched with the pre-existing code, it passes on this message to the voice output as well as the LCD screen. If the sign is not recognized, the process reiterates and re-begins. Coming over to the working of the proposed system, the working of the proposed system is very simple and user friendly. First, the user is required to wear the hand glove, which is attached with the accelerometer sensor on it. Now, when a user wants to convey a message or wants to communicate, she needs to make gestures by bending the fingers. The accelerometer sensors attached over them recognizes these gestures as they are three-axis sensors and detect even the slight bending of the fingers. Each these bending create a resistance combination inside the sensors. This different resistance combinations outputs different gestures. This sensor data is passed on to the Arduino for further processing. Inside the Arduino, these sensed data is compared with the predefined gestures. If there is a match between these two, this is then outputted onto the LCD screen and also passed on to a speech synthesizer module, that is TTS-256, which converts a text input to speech output. The code which is inside the microcontroller is pre-written in according to the what gestures the person wants to convey. Coming over to the advantages of the proposed system, this is the most important aspect of the proposed system. Since the system is compact and very light, it is very useful for a disabled person to take it all along. So this shows that the system is portable. The second advantage is that system identifies gestures at a faster rate as compared to the existing system, since it makes use of three-axis accelerometer sensors comparative to the flex sensors used in the existing system. The third advantage is that TTS-256 uses a built-in algorithm to produce speech from text when it is also supporting two different languages, that is English and Chinese. The system supports a wireless approach, so it makes it portable and user-friendly for a disabled person. Conclusion. Our system Talking Hand Glove provides a very simple design for communication between the disabled people and the normal people. The keynotes or the summary of the paper is as follows. This system is very compactable and has a portable design. It has a quicker response of a time of 2 to 3 minutes. This effectively reduces the communication barrier between the disabled people and the normal people. This was the main need for a new system or a new technology. And the last conclusion point is that this project can be used to control other applications or like the television, the computer, or even the video games. This proposed system can be enhanced in many different ways. Few of them are listed below. The first future enhancement can be made like in the field of mobiles or in use of digital platform, wherein a mobile application can be designed to control the system remotely and make it user friendly. The second future enhancement is you make use of wireless technologies such as Zigbees instead of the RF transmitter and receiver to make the transmission of sensor data more faster and easier. We can also use GSM module so that the disabled person can also send text messages to the recipient or the guardian caretaker in times of emergency. On the same lines, a fabric jacket can also be developed to suit the animals or the wild animals in the forest or a zoo. Also, the system can be implemented for virtual reality games and can replace the input devices like the joysticks. These are the IEEE journal papers I have referenced before writing this paper, and they discuss about the various methods used for the current existing systems. I have published my journal paper in the following journal. It is titled Talking Handler for the Disabled and is published in the research journal IJRASET. It is International Journal for Research in Applied Science and Engineering Technology of Volume 8, Issue 3 in March 2020. This research paper has an impact factor of 7.41. This is a snapshot of the certificate for publishing my journal paper in this journal IJRASET. Finally, I would like to thank my guides, Professor Hanmantappa H. Sir, and also Pallavi Ma'am for guiding me throughout this process and making this research work a successful one. Thank you.